As the political crisis in Rivers State simmers, Governor Siminalayi Fubara appears set to play his strongest card in the worsening face-off with his predecessor and estranged benefactor Nyesom Wike. Fubara, during the swearing-in of Dagogo Iboroma, a senior advocate of Nigeria, as the new Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, declared plans to set up a judicial panel of inquiry to investigate the affairs of government and how it was conducted before he assumed office, referring to the administration of the immediate past Governor Wike, under whom he was Accountant General of Rivers State.
Now joining us is PDP Chieftain, Hon Collins Ordu, who's going to be, of course, x-raying these issues. Thanks for joining us. It's, I would continue to describe it as I'll continue to describe it as heartbreaking, seeing what's going on in Rivers State. And I've said it before that I think the people of Rivers State, deserve better than all of this chaos. But let's, bring you in on the recent developments, the new Attorney General, and of course, the conversation on investigating the 8 years of Nyesom Wike as the Governor of Rivers State.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you once more, Nigerians. Okay. The idea of the governor trying to investigate the past governor is actually constitutional, but I think that I will categorically state it here that the governor is not genuine in that statement that he wants to probe the past administration. What the governor is merely doing is a media trial of the past governor, the Honorable Minister of FCT, His Excellency Nyesom Wike. He is not genuine in the sense that if Governor Fubara will put into perspective the events that took place in 2022, Fubara by now, or Governor Fubara by now, should have been in prison. There are steps and methods you take if you genuinely want to probe. And I think that the fact that Fubara comes up to say, I am also involved, he's only trying to do a media trial of the governor, because when people hear, you want to probe, you see a lot of interest. He wants to just artificially drag interest of Nigerians.
I'd like you to clarify something you just said. You talked about Governor Fubara should be in prison. I want you to explain further what you mean by that.
What I'm saying is that there were times when there were media trials against him that the former administration was engulfed in some financial recklessness. But that trial has not till date taken place. So Governor Fubara knows if he is genuine to do an overview of the activities of the past governor, he knows what to do. But to tell you the truth, I think that his actions have shown that he does not understand what government is. The statement he made yesterday at Eleme, he said, look, that till date, he's making payments. He's making payments on previous commissioned projects. I say he doesn't understand government because I know that when Governor Wike awarded, let me take for example, the Trans-Calabari Road, he amortized the payments to the contractor from the federal allocation. And if for any reason those payments had not been exhausted till he left, government is continuing. And if Fubara is paying those debts, I don't see any reason to begin to hype that you are paying genuine debts. As I sit with you here now, in NDDC, my friend who did a job when Nyesom Wike was the MD is still being owed to date. And I don't see why that will be an issue that you are paying past indebtedness of the government, and you say that is a problem. You see, he's, like I said, he's merely hyping the public because they have just heard that, look, I want to probe. This is not how things are done.
Yeah. Would you say that he should, I mean, he's currently, governor of the state, so he has, immunity as governor. So are you saying that he maybe should waive his immunity and ask that they investigate him and prosecute him for previous cases? Is that what you would recommend? Would that make you believe, his efforts to probe the previous administration?
I will see that, to address my point that is all media hype, the fact that he keeps telling them that I am involved. Governor Fubara was the chief accounting officer of the state, and no kobo leaves the state without his approval. So how can you be hyping people and be putting people on high jump when you're really not prepared to do anything?
Yeah, but I mean, you haven't answered the question I'm asking. When you say that this is media trial and he's not being serious, are you expecting that he should ask that they waive his immunity, to be investigated along with the former governor?
He cannot waive his immunity. What he needs to do is start the process as it is supposed to, and then tell Nigerians, if for any reason I'm found wanting as part of this probe, I should also be held responsible. His immunity is not for life.
Yes.
By the time he drops his immunity, then all of what will be unveiled the law will take its course. So he should stop all this media war and get to business. Tomorrow, Goroba will now say somebody has been taunting my government, somebody has been distracting me. He's the one distracting himself because he knows that all of what he's saying are not genuine intentions.
Okay, but you are in support of a probe of the former governor, are you?
Probe is constitutional. And if he sees anything that he feels that he does not understand, he can as well go into it. But don't be telling us that, look, I am part of it. If you're part of it, you go for it. Go ahead and probe. And I think that former Governor Nyesom Wike will not even say he shouldn't probe, because all of what happened in the state were transparent. It goes through processes, and in these processes, it's delivered. It's on record now that the House of Assembly, led by Martin Zamewule, has consistently said that Governor Fubara is beating the process of awarding contracts. That he's even the one who has not gone through the due process of awarding contracts. Governor Nyesom Wike went through due processes of awarding contracts, and I want him to stop this media war.
All right. How do you perceive that the former governor of the state, Governor His Excellency Nyesom Wike, is taking all of this? Do you think he feels? How do you perceive he will take this, and what his reactions will be?
I, as one who voted Governor Fubara, am totally disenchanted. I wonder what and how Governor Nyesom Wike is feeling about Governor Sim Fubara now. We're completely disappointed, let me say the least. You see, we didn't expect this. At this point in time, what we had planned was deliver projects and sound administration to Rivers people, taking a lead from the activities of the past governor. They say a lion will definitely give birth to a lion, but here we are completely disappointed in his activities. He is in no way representing the image and the person of former Governor Nyesom Wike.
Yeah, but I mean, what do you mean he's not representing? He's not meant to be there in government house to represent, the image of anybody. He's meant to be there in government house as governor of the state and move the state forward. So what part of that is disappointing exactly to yourself?
Yeah, what I'm trying to say, in your central news now, you have quality that you will want to keep, and whoever comes in will keep that quality and standard. As it stands now, Governor Fubara has derailed and has
In what
kept
ways? And that's what I'm trying to find out. So in what ways, you know, and why is Nyesom Wike the standard? And yeah, I mean, why is that the standard for governance? And, you know, anybody who doesn't meet that standard, I mean, there was a standard before Nyesom Wike, wasn't there?
That's what I'm saying. Take, for example, what he's doing in FCT now. They have, people are beginning to say, or even confess to the fact that there had been ministers and there had been ministers. So the standard I'm talking about is that Nyesom Wike performed and got.
Yeah, but if you don't give him time to perform, how do you judge his standards 2 weeks into his administration? Because this crisis started barely a month, you know, after the inauguration. So when did the issue of his standard become a problem?
Yeah, you're talking about 2 weeks into his administration now. 2 weeks into his administration, the House of Assembly is saying that the governor is circumventing the due process of awarding contracts. That's not Nyesom Wike's standard. In 2 weeks, like you said now, we are yet to see plethora of projects being commissioned or flagged off as it used to be. So that's the standard I'm talking about, just like in your studio.
In defense to that, I mean, I'm not holding brief for the governor, but those who hold brief might say that the governor hasn't actually had time to be governor because he's fielding off attacks, political attacks, and trying to maneuver his way every single day. So shouldn't that maybe explain the fact that he has not actually had time to be governor because he's being attacked politically?
Yeah, you are not here in Rivers State. We are in Rivers State. We are doing that assessment. And I want to put it to you that he brought the ant-infested wood to himself. Nobody would have had issues with Governor Fubara, but he sat down and thought that a new unprogressive actions and pattern to adopt. So and that is the reason why you see all of what you're seeing. We haven't had it so bad like this before, where the executive and the House of Assembly are in collision. And then, thirdly, as it stands now, there is a judgment. There's a judgment from the Federal High Court, Justice Omotosho. I will give you the suit code number so you go and verify, which states that the governor cannot temper to determine where the House of Assembly will sit. Now you see the governor going to issue an executive order transferring the sitting of the House of Assembly to Government House. And tomorrow you begin to say it's Governor Nyesom Wike, a man who will flout even court judgment.
Let's talk about Nyesom Wike for a little bit. At the Thanksgiving ceremony for Senator George Sekibo, he gave a speech, and in his speech, some interpreted his speech to mean that he's apologizing for putting Governor Fubara in office. I'm going to quote what he said. I mean, it's been interpreted to mean that he's apologizing to Rivers for choosing Governor Fubara as successor. But the part I want to quote is, he said, I'm a human being. I am bound to make a mistake. My judgment can be wrong. So forgive me for making a wrong judgment. He also did say, I've made a mistake, I own it up, and I ask God to forgive me. I have said all of you, forgive me, but we will correct it at the appropriate time. From your perspective, and seeing as you're in Rivers State, what do you think this means? Do you think that you agree with a number of the people who have interpreted it to mean that he's apologizing for installing Fubara as his successor?
I just told you that I'm completely disappointed in the activities of the governor. I joined former Governor Nyesom Wike in that statement. You see, I have just told you that, see, these are things. This is a governor who has flouted a judgment. That is not what we expected. This is a governor who has refused to go through due process in awarding contracts. That is not what we planned for. And many others, which time will not permit me to state here.
So if you are, I mean, just expressing your disappointment and also saying that, I mean, alluding to the fact that you agree with the interpretation of what that intent might mean, would you then say that the governor in some measure has acted undemocratically? He's not been democratic in his approach, such that he's sort of imposed his own will. I mean, the choice of of who should be governor of the state should be the choice of the people. But it seems that if he can take the credit for that, then that's not what our democracy provides for, right?
No, it's not as if Governor Nyesom Wike single-handedly brought him. What Governor Nyesom Wike is saying is this: we are members of PDP, and before anybody will vie for a position, we will have to do our internal party primaries. To that extent, the governor saw a choice in Governor Fubara, and that is why he said, look, if I have thought in this direction, I thought it in good conscience. But as it stands now, with all the deviations, with all the malgovernance, and all of the negative accolades attributed to the governor, that I am saying, I am sorry. I thought I know him.
Just to clarify once again, what is the standard, and why is Nyesom Wike the standard of governance that Rivers State, is rolling with? And what is this thing that Governor Fubara did 1 minute after he was sworn in as governor that he immediately now, was no longer the standard of governance that Rivers State, required? Because if we've listened to, I've paid attention to the comments, that have been, made since the House of Assembly members decided to move to the APC, since commissioners decided that they no longer wanted to hold those positions. And none of them really have been about developmental projects for Rivers State. They've mostly just been about politics, and those who are taking sides with Nyesom Wike and the ones who are taking sides with Sim Fubara. So what standards are we talking about here that, we keep referring to?
Yeah, there is no standard being put in place. What is at play is that deliver good governance to Rivers people. Use Rivers resources very judiciously. This is what Governor Nyesom, former Governor Nyesom Wike did. It's not as if it's a standard. He went as far as uplifting the standards of people and governance in Rivers State. And that is what we are expecting him to leverage on and improve on. It's not as if there's a standard where Nyesom Wike expected him. No, we know what Rivers State looked like before Governor Nyesom Wike became governor, and we know what it looked like when he left.
So immediately he left. So you're saying, because we need to go. You're saying that 2 weeks after Governor Wike left, the Rivers State immediately turned into Gotham. Immediately Governor Wike left, without giving Sim Fubara 6 months even to govern. It immediately became Gotham. The whole River State became a war zone. Is that what you're saying? How have you given Sim Fubara time to actually be governor if there's already impeachment threats a couple of weeks after he became governor?
The impeachment threats came as a result of the fact that he is not following the constitutional laid down procedures in governance. So if you are not doing that, it means that he was flagrantly disobeying anything that has to do with the judiciary. There are court orders, there are court judgments. Governor Fubara is not respecting any of them. And these are the things that when you see...
Unfortunately, we have to go. Unfortunately, we have to go. But of course, it's an ongoing conversation because it seems that the drama in Rivers State is unfolding into new dimensions every day. So we certainly will have you back when there's a new update, which I'm sure will be pretty soon. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thanks for your time.